Now, you have these people in Sri Lanka, and they're pretty much rebelling against their government. And this is Bible prophecy because all of the nations are connected. See, all of the nations have been pretty much prophesied about, and in the prophecies, it speaks about every nation. Now let's get what was the job of the prophets? Because the prophets had a specific job to do. Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So these, all the countries, see, fall under the banner of it's war coming, it's bad time, meaning evil is coming, pestilence is coming to your country. We've seen the pandemic go worldwide. We've seen war worldwide. And this is all the countries. Then when you go to Isaiah 34, let's start at verse 1. It say, come near ye nations, to hear and hearken ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all the things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. See, all the nations, God has a righteous hatred for all of these nations. So when the prophecies go across the board, they're not isolated to just one nation. Even though certain prophecies is for certain nations, but at that same time, you got the prophecies going for all nations. Let's get another one. Zephaniah 3:8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, says the Lord, until the day that I rise up to pray. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. You see, the Lord is coming for all the earth. He's not just going to focus on America or focus on China or focus on Israel, so-called the state of Israel, or focus on Iran. He's coming for all the nations. Look at Jeremiah 25:29. They say, for lo, I began to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and should ye, meaning you, be utterly unpunished? Who is that you? You shall not be unpunished. Who is he talking about? For I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, says the Lord of hosts. Now let's jump back up. What does he mean, all the inhabitants of the earth? Verse 26, it say, all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world, which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink after them. So he's going to bring this punishment to all nations, not just America, not just China, not just Russia, not just Europe, not just Africa. All the nations is going to feel this. So when you go into the prophecy of the end, okay, which the red dragon took out of the Bible and try to discredit, so you wouldn't be able to know the time, because it say the red dragon deceived the whole world. See, he don't want people to know what time uh, the Lord is coming back, so they can be caught in their wickedness. Verse 16, it says, "For there shall be seditions among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." See, they rushing into the president's house, and they're not regarding the president's house, because now the economy has been shot. Now they going and destroying houses. Look at verse 19. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." This is what the news report said. It's a lack of bread, and the economy is ruined. And they're blaming the president. They're blaming the government, the kings and the princes, for this ruin, this economic ruin, with no gas, no food, no medicine. See, this is Bible prophecy, and it's upon all nations. See, it's not just, it's coming to America, the greatest nation. That's why you got Babylon the Great. In a short period of time, this is coming to Babylon the Great, because people think that they not gonna feel what these other countries be feeling, because there's always something going on in the world with these other countries, and these Americans, they push it under the rug and think it's not gonna come to them, but it's coming to Babylon. Now let's get, what is it, let's get Yahweh Shah, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Let's get his words about these last days and the signs. Now, the disciples was asking him what was going to be the sign of the end of the world. Okay, and then he told them, let's start at verse 7. He said, "For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines." See, and pestilence, earthquakes, and in diverse places. And so these famines was going to happen. And then he said in verse 21, he said, "And then shall be great tribulation." See, that's what Ezra was prophesying about. "Such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be." So it's gonna come to the point where this is gonna be a unprecedented or unscaled, unmeasurable time. You can't measure this time to no other time. Speaking of measuring, let's go into that. 2 Ezra 9. It said, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself." See, you're not gonna be able to measure this time. See, the end that's coming is not, you can't measure it. This great tribulation, that's what I want to say. The great tribulation, you can't measure it with no other time. That's pretty much what they were saying. But you're gonna be able to measure. It's pretty much saying you can't compare it to any other time, because it's gonna defeat. If you try to compare it and say it's the same, it's gonna outweigh, and it's gonna over it's gonna beat them by miles, man. It says, "And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee." Okay, so when you see the signs passing, and here goes some of the signs in verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. See, the uproars of the people in the world is going to be a major sign. Then you're going to know this is a tribulation. All the people of the world is up in uproar. They're overtaking their governments. They're protesting. They're not regarding their kings and their princes. They're running out of food, medicine, water. Look at verse 6. It says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. It always signs and effects to the end of these kingdoms. This is how the Most High work. This is his wonders and his powerful works that he used at the end of these kingdoms and these empires that's on the earth that's ruling. And so this is how it's going down now. You see, Sri Lanka is just the start of these things. The Haitians in Haiti, they was having a breakdown. Their president was assassinated. Their economy was breaking down. Now you got this place totally breaking down. And all of this is these are some of the signs that's being an example of what he's going to do worldwide. Because we're going to get to Babylon. Let's see how it's going to go down. Because once Babylon falls, that's going to be the grand finale. It says in 19, it said, and the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. See, when that destruction come for America, all the cities is going to fall. It's going to be like a domino effect. But this is just an example of how things are going to be. Once the food, once the gas, the food, the medicine shut down, the people are going to rebel. When it's a lack of bread, the people are going to rebel, and all hell is going to break loose. And that's going to be the end of these people's system. And so they might try to grab some kind of order through martial law, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be destroyed once all hell break loose. It'll be a short period of time after all hell breaking loose, but he gonna bring this system, these people kingdom to an end and crack that sky. And I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, descendants of slaves, scattered around the globe on slave ships and through many captivities. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.